Hey, what's up everyone? JJ here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the new June 1st, 2025 LEGO Harry Potter set, Hogwarts Castle Herbology Classroom. In this set, we'll take a look at the greenhouse here. We will look at the minifigures as well as the interior and exterior build. We'll also see how this kind of fits in. It doesn't connect to the main tower that just came out. We will also kind of look at some of the build techniques used for this set and compare them to the Hogwarts Moments Herbology Classroom, as well as the Hufflepuff house banner, as well as kind of that little mini greenhouse set that came with the astronomy tower a few years ago. But let's jump right in now and take a look at this set. Here we see the Hogwarts Castle Herbology Classroom set. This is set 76445. It has 390 pieces and retails for $49.99 in the US. This set comes with one instruction manual, which is far different than the main tower, and 3 minifigures. The minifigures are, of course, Professor Sprout, as well as young Neville and young Hermione. We've seen a Professor Sprout minifigure a few times in LEGO Harry Potter. The one here in the middle front is the one that comes with this set. A lot of things were not improved upon. For instance, I far prefer kind of the dual molded legs that we saw previously, or even them printing on the skirt piece. However, the torso printing for this minifigure is far more detailed than the other two. So I am happy that there was an improvement there, but all in all, it's not an improvement for this character. There's an alternate face print as well as some back torso printing. One thing that is unique about this print, however, if you notice kind of the tan from the legs, does come up on the printing there for the torso. I'm not sure if that's supposed to represent kind of the fabric color going onto the torso, or if it's supposed to represent dirt of some kind. Similarly, we've seen Neville in his Herbology outfit a few times as well. I will say with this new figure, which again, the one in the middle, I do really like the face print here on the front. Neville was one of the figures I didn't love his face print for a long time because the character, while it looked kind of dopey, didn't quite match what Neville was as a character. But I think the newer face print that we've seen here looks really nice. Unfortunately, I don't love the alternate face print. I do far prefer the face print for the other two figures where he's kind of fainted from hearing the Mandrakes screams. And in terms of torso printing, my favorite is still the one there all the way on the right that came with the CMF series. I like that you can see kind of the Gryffindor tie. The newer one isn't really an improvement or, didn't get worse than previous iterations. So it's a fine figure overall. And for me, there's something really special about the third minifigure, Hermione. We get lots of young Hermiones. It was an interesting choice for her to be the additional character. And I say that because this minifigure can't wear the earmuffs. It makes sense for the scene as she does have a couple lines in there, but overall it was a strange choice. Looking now at the exterior of the build, I'm actually really happy with what the designers did for this Herbology Classroom, actually making it a proper greenhouse. Here you can see on the top, of course, we have windows, and there's going to be lots of windows here on the side as well. The set opens up fully, and you can display it as a straight line to make it look larger, with the interior, of course, fully exposed on the other side. Or you can close it up, again, to have kind of a fully enclosed greenhouse build that you can display with your Hogwarts system. I quite love some of the detailing here with the gold on the roof, especially using those dragon and horn pieces. And I like how that continues on the paneling that also appears here on the roof with the gold umbrellas. It was also a really cool and fun build technique they used to make the tree kind of coming out one of the missing glass panels here at the roof. I hadn't realized that when I first saw leaked images of the set, so that was kind of a fun surprise for me as I was building it. And I also like all the mushrooms as well as plant pieces we have here at the entrance. Here we can see the set fully opened up, and as you can see, there are 2 sides, and there's just a lot of great detailing with the plant pieces. One thing that is cool is you can remove this piece. There's kind of a clip connection point for each of them, and that kind of can open up your classroom scene, and then you kind of have some additional play areas there on the back wall. Looking first at the Mandrakes, I really love this pop piece. I don't have this in my collection. I'm not sure if it's new to this set specifically, but it is definitely new in my collection. And I also like the new piece we have for the Mandrake. It looks very similar to what we saw with Lego Dreams. However, the character looks a little bit different there with his arms. And the Mandrake piece in general has definitely come a long way from previous versions. And I think this really captures the creature well. That horrific looking face, I think is perfect for when he gets pulled there out of the dirt. And just to show, there is a connection point on the bottom of this pot as well. So the Mandrakes, aren't going to easily fall out, kind of like those earmuffs that were not really connected. And then the next piece that can pull out kind of from that attached clip, like I said earlier. Here we're going to see these 2 kind of lavender colored things inside the case. We also see that potions bubble that we got with the potion set in this green color. I think it's supposed to represent a cactus or some type of plant. And then we also see kind of the ice cream similarly there, maybe like a plant. Good, fun just to have additional little plants. There's not a ton additional happening inside. I really like the red skirt piece kind of used here as that large plant. And there is a fountain there you can see with like that water lily as well as the frog. Always love when frogs are included in sets. And then here on the other side, we see some additional mushrooms there coming to the inside. And we also see a lot of plants there on the back with the spider. And I do like those little orange orb pieces representing, I'm assuming, pumpkins growing here in the greenhouse. All in all, I think this was a really fun build. What I like most about it is the fact that a lot of the internal elements can be removed pretty easily. So if you wanted to get additional greenhouses, buying more than one of this set, you can really customize it for various scenes and other plants that would be in the Harry Potter universe. I also think you could kind of display it opened up like this. And if you bought two of them, you could easily kind of build the footprint of the other one the same way and have them connect there in the middle, thus having kind of a double wide greenhouse as well, which could look quite nice in a display. Now looking here at the greenhouse that came with the astronomy tower a few years ago with the 2018 Hogwarts Castle system, there were some things the designers kept the same. We're seeing a lot of paneling and we still see the use kind of the dragon embellishment there on the roof. This set came with a proper door, which is the one thing that this set doesn't have, the new set that I didn't love. There's no door. All of the edges are opened up, but it was definitely an improvement from this set. Especially if we compare very specifically just the Mandrake table, which is all that earlier set had. They use kind of those traditional potions, cauldrons in brown with just a cylinder piece with the Mandrake print as well as the kind of hairpiece. And I think they did a huge improvement with the new Mandrake body as well as that new pot piece. And here you can see what I mean when I say all four of the kind of openings don't have a door. I think glass paneling would have been really cool to include. So maybe it would have been too hard to make any of those a door, but if we just got 4 glass paneling pieces, we perhaps could have even had a sticker to put on there, which could have been nice. And I say that because most people who are going to open it up would actually just open up the set fully. You don't need your characters to get through a door. So I do wish it included 4 additional glass panes for those 4 openings. Now, the Hogwarts Moments Herbology Classroom did a really nice job, I felt, kind of trying to make this scene into a greenhouse. And we can see that here with kind of this windowed wall to show that you're looking at a greenhouse. And this set had just a lot of cool play features with various plants. And I really liked all the sticker pieces really to show some of the foliage. And even though the new set doesn't have those sticker pieces to add detail, the designers did a good job including a lot of plant pieces, which we just see there are more and more of these being made in Lego because of, the focus on some of the, Lego flowers and all those different sets as well. In my Lego display, I am going to try and find a way to include some of these pieces as well as some of the sticker prints here into this Herbology Classroom greenhouse for my Hogwarts Castle display. And I would love to find a way to incorporate this door with the be aware warning. But I think there's gonna be a little bit of changes I have to make to at least one edge of the doorway if I were to include this into this setup. And obviously the Hufflepuff banner isn't a greenhouse, it's representing the Hufflepuff common room. We saw with this set a lot of references, of course, to herbology. And so because of that, I'm also going to try and include some of these cool sticker pieces into this greenhouse as well, especially if I get a second one to expand. And so we saw just with that set, a lot of cool plant pieces. A chest would be nice to add to the greenhouse. This chest, if you remember, inside of it, they kind of just put all of the, I think it's like mostly spoons and scissors and just other tools students would use. And there's just a lot of really cool plant pieces as well as some sticker pieces that you can put inside a greenhouse if you were to expand it. And I probably should remove that watering can from the fireplace. And I know in a previous video, I've already talked about the grand scale of the main tower set, but I actually think the greenhouse here is kind of an appropriate scale for what we see with this tower for just one greenhouse. If you were to buy a second or even third, as you can see, you could easily make it much longer and it would still kind of be in the correct scale, I think, for the castle. So I'm actually really satisfied with this build and kind of how it fits in without actually connecting to this Hogwarts castle system. And just the last thing I want to do is compare this to last year's Potions Classroom. I think the Herbology class is kind of the most similar from this wave to last year's Summer 2024 wave. Similarly, of course, with the Herbology Classroom, the Potions Classroom opens up and kind of has lots of play scenes for Potions class. And we saw that, of course, with all the different stickers, as well as some of the archways and some of the various accessories that were included with this set. In terms of sizing, both of these sets have a very similar footprint. There are some additional differences, of course, here with the greenhouse with some of those plant pieces jutting out at the edge. And of course, for height, the greenhouse is a little bit taller. So this is not going to be able to be interchanged underneath the main tower or underneath the Great Hall. Here we can see the main tower. I have pulled out the chess set. Obviously, the Potions class would fit in there well. But if you take off the trees and if you turn the umbrellas on the top, you can kind of store the greenhouse in this spot. It will kind of jump out here. As you can see, it doesn't get full clearance. I don't know why anyone would choose to do that. I think the designers did a good job making the greenhouse a standalone build, but just to see kind of where it fits within a footprint. It's very similar to that Potions class. And here we can see that Potions Classroom, which was actually designed to neatly fit underneath the tower set. So the greenhouse is not. Now, of course, when comparing these sets, we have to keep in mind that the greenhouse is $10 more expensive. And is it $10 better? I'm not sure. I think both of these sets are good for their price point. And of course, you know, inflation with Lego always increasing in price. I do like that the designers decided not to try and make this fit within the Hogwarts Castle system and instead made it its standalone. Originally, I thought it would be similar to this, where you could display it on its own with the walls. However, you could also put it inside underneath the Great Hall or the main tower. But it made sense they did not do that. And I think you get a lot of really cool build techniques for the actual greenhouse and exterior because of that. With that being said, I'm not convinced there is a $10 more value in this set than the Potion set. I mean, can we not go up in increments of 5 Lego instead of increments of 10? Like, at least save them a little bit. All in all, though, I am happy with the set. I like the build, and I think they did a good job including lots of details with plants without relying on sticker pieces specifically. Let me know what you think of this set, what additional classrooms you want them to make. Would you want them to be more like this, where they're able to stand alone a little bit on their own? Or do you think we're going to get more of the Potions classroom type style set? I personally think we'll see a lot like the Potions in the various Hogwarts Castle expansions, where you can kind of change them throughout, because it made sense for the greenhouse to be standalone. I will probably pick a second one of these up, at least wait for double VIP points, as I don't know. Harry Potter, most of the sets don't always go on sale, not the smaller ones anyways. Some of the bigger ones will. But let me know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to stay updated with LEGO leaks, rumors, news, and reviews, hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much, and I will see you all next time.